Today we had a lesson on three letter combinations that all make the same sound, and that's the sound. So ER, IR, and UR all make the same sound, but obviously they look different because they're different letters. And I mentioned this in a previous video. We have to be very careful between the sound and the R sound, because a lot of kids will think that the letter R makes but we really try to teach it that it makes R. So because it has a vowel in it, you can hear the person's voice. So it's making a sound because of the vowel. So will always either be ER, IR, UR, and they appear most frequently in that order. So starting with ER and then so on. So we looked at a couple words today that have these sounds in them, and we've really been practicing when we're trying to solve difficult words. We're always looking for, letters working together. So, like OW making ow, EE making E, consonant buddies like st or sl. We're always looking for letters to work together. Um, and here's just another example of letters that work together to make certain sounds. So we started off with actually one of our balloon words, and this was an easy one. Students knew it right off the bat. And in this word, ER makes the sound. So we didn't really need to do sound boxes. I really like the idea of using sound boxes because it just kind of helps students get an idea of what letters are working together. And when we're sounding the word out, um, if you point underneath each box, it kind of helps them to remember what sound they're focusing on. But it's really neat to see a lot of students, they don't even need to use these anymore. So when we're doing a whole lesson together, they look at the word and they're able to see those letters working together. So eventually with time, they won't need to do the boxes, but I find that it really helps some of our friends. So, her, it's an awful picture of a girl, but it works. Okay, so here we move on to fur. So what I always do when I'm teaching, word sounding out, strategy, solving, whatever you want to call it, is I always say, look at the beginning of the word. Do you see a consonant buddy? I'm going to make another video on consonant buddies, but basically two consonants that come together that make one sound. So if they say no, then we just do a box around the first consonant. And then we go on from there looking for looking for letters that work together. And so obviously we were having a lesson on so all of these words are going to have the sound in it. Here's an example of a word that has a consonant buddy at the beginning. So let's say your child is, trying to solve this word in a book. I would say to them, okay, well, what do you see at the beginning of the word? And they might say, S. And then I would say, okay, well, look, is there another letter next to it that could, maybe work with that letter to make a certain sound? So, st makes one sound. And then from here on in, they might say the next sound is I. And I would say, okay, but remember, try to look for letters that work together. Because the longer the word is, the more letters it's going to have in it that work together. So starting at the beginning of the word, I always get them to start at the beginning of the word, obviously, except for sometimes when it has like pushy E and stuff in it, I'd say look at the first letter, but then try to look at the rest of the letters as well. But most of the time it works if you just go like from left to right. Earn. So here was a long one. And students knew this, a lot of students knew this word because it's just one that we see quite often. So here's a good example of where there's a consonant buddy in the middle of a word. So it doesn't always have to appear at the beginning. So we see S. ist, ist, sister. So we're going to be doing a lot more lessons using this sound because it comes up in a lot of words. And we're also going to work on some lessons that are focusing on spelling words with the sound. Because a lot of times, when we're trying to spell a word, for example, when we're trying to spell the word bird, it's bird. We'll do word. Now we know that that does obviously not say bird, and that's because students are thinking that R says and R does not say I-E-E-R, what am I talking about? E-R-I-R and U-R make the sound. And so, when you're trying to help your child spell, also remind them that every single word and every single syllable in a word needs a vowel. So you look at this word, there's no vowel in it. Doesn't make sense. You can't say it because it's not using our voices at all. So we're going to practice that too. But I challenge you at home to, maybe come up with some words together that use the sound and try sounding them out and spelling them. Or maybe go on a hunt within some of your books and look for the sound and see how many you can find. So I hope that this helps. And like I said, we're going to keep working on it together.